Hello, everyone. Welcome to the e-commerce or Shopify guide for connecting your Shopify store to your Zoro instance. Let's go ahead. Let's get started. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the sales channel module. And from here, I'm going to go to add sales channel. And I'm going to add my Shopify store. So let's click on add. And basically it's going to ask for a username and password. So just to note that this is not your normal credentials that you use to log into your Zoro instance. These are actually special credentials that can be requested during onboarding. So I'm going to put in some credentials here. I'm going to click on sign in. And basically this step of the procedure is you're granting permission for your Zoro instance to get information from your Shopify store. So basically you're going to click on grant, click on connect to Shopify, and then now it's going to ask for some of your Shopify credentials. So I'm going to put in an account name here. So this account is basically for this specifically for this Shopify store. So let 12, and there's some instructions just a little bit below here that will help you fill in some of this information. So I'm actually just going to paste this from my store, and I'll tell you where to get this consumer key and password from. So I'm going to pull over my Shopify store that I've got open here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on apps, and I'm going to click on manage private apps. And if you haven't already created a Zoro app for your Shopify store, you can click on create new private app. And let's call this Zoro. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these top two for read, and I'm going to make these ones read and write. I'm going to click on save. And it's actually going to generate the API keys for me. So I'm going to copy this API key, and I'm going to copy the password. And I'm going to click on sign in. And if you've got the keys set up correctly, it'll take you to this page. So there's a couple things of note I just want to mention. Basically, what you can do is you can choose to export your products from Shopify into Zoro. But we don't quite recommend that, just because Shopify has a lot of extra information that once it gets dropped into Zoro, it can create some garbage information. So what we recommend is to upload your SKUs into Shopify and then upload your SKUs into Zoro and then link them. So what we're actually going to do is we won't export our products, but we will export our customers. So you have the choice of exporting individual customers into Zoro or just a single customer. So a single customer is nice just because that way you're not flooding your ERP system with multiple customers. And then you'll have to choose an accounts receivable as well. So this is depending on the currency of your store. So just make sure the currency of this accounts receivable matches up with the currency of your store. Tick this off if you want to drop orders from Shopify into Zoro. So basically the orders are going to get dropped in with a particular a store. So let's go and let's select these accounts here. So the payment and liability account, these are the accounts that get dropped. The deposit, the payment that Shopify takes, it's dropped as a deposit. And the deposit basically it gets associated with these accounts. So I can basically choose these accounts here. Let me choose a tax exempt code, make sure it's tax exempt, and the tax calculation type. So if your Shopify store is based out of California, you're going to want to choose origin hybrid. And then let's choose a project and class. If you have one, you can choose it here. And then this setting here decides whether you're dropping your orders as invoices or sales orders. So basically, if you need to fulfill your Shopify orders from an external 3PL or your own internal fulfillment process, you would drop them off as sales orders. However, if you want, you can also drop them off as invoices. So this is handy if you have a POS store or something like that. I'm actually just going to put in a location here, just so to handle the returns, a location will be needed. So I'm going to select there for pack and ship. I can decide whether I want to auto release or auto wave orders. That's a setting that you can decide. I'll leave that just like this for now. And you can actually choose to update stock levels in Shopify. So anytime a change is made to any one of these inventory levels, these stock levels, that same change will get sent to Shopify as well. So for now, I can choose to sync this with the on-hand quantity. And I'm going to select the main warehouse. And this is basically what store you want to what inventory set you want to sync your items to. So any inventory changes for link SKUs in main warehouse, those for the on-hand quantity, those changes will get sent to the Shopify store. Likewise, I can choose multiple stores. I can just choose a single store, and I can select which inventory set I want to work with. So let's select the time zone now. This is the time zone for your operation. And you can enable auto import exports. So basically, with this setting, you can basically enable it so that you can drop your orders every hour or every half hour, however frequently you want. So let's go ahead. For now, I'm just going to disable it, but you can always go ahead and you can basically make it drop every hour. So for every hour, you'd make it 1 hour, maybe 5 minutes, and then you'd put maybe today's date as the integration start date. And so I'm just going to leave this one for now, though. And I'm going to click on complete setup. And so now the Shopify store has been set up. And the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you link your SKUs up. So anytime you have SKUs in Shopify and you have SKUs in Zoro, you want to make sure they're always linked before anything is done. So before orders are dropped, before any inventory changes go to Shopify, because if the SKUs aren't linked, then none of those changes will go through. And so you want to make sure your SKUs are linked in order for the inventory to stay correct. So I'm going to click on link SKUs. And so as you can see, there's actually an error. There'll be another video where we can discuss how to manage this app and how to go through some of these features. But for now, this is how you set up your Shopify.